Welcome to Six Figs. I'm Kyle, and in today's video, we're talking at a high level about projects that are going to make an impact in the ICP ecosystem. We'll also go on to cover the charts and where I think that ICP could land going into this next bull run. I say going into this next bull run because I think that the interest rate cuts this week, hopefully, will surprise, and I'm hoping it kicks off the next bull market. I would love to see these coins start melting up again. Now, on the 10th, I dropped this post. Shit's about to get wild around here in the ICP community, guys, because the marketing campaign I've been working on is going to absolutely bang. And really, it's a collaborative effort between Clown, Kong Swap, and myself. Once you guys see what happens, if you guys are out there complaining about the lack of marketing Definity is doing, I need you guys to go ahead and get your full support behind Clown and Kong Swap, who are actually coming together to make a difference in the IC. And what I've come up with, guys, is one of the craziest, most outrageous marketing campaigns to ever touch the internet computer or perhaps any other crypto ecosystem. It's going to be insane to say the least. So with that said, there is going to be some euphoria and absolute wild madness coming to the internet computer. So we're super excited about that. Now, Taco DAO, guys, I've been telling you about Taco DAO, one of the sponsors of the channel, alongside Clown and Blockminer. Taco DAO, guys, is this incredible app or project where it operates as like a portfolio, meaning they do these crazy due diligence reports on tokens that they want to add to their portfolio, right? So right now, there is due diligence on Clown and Neutronite. And so I think that these are both good projects. And to give you guys an example of what they do as far as digging on these projects to decide if they're worthy or not of investing in, they go in and talk to the team. They basically talk about all the token utility, the economics, like everything, guys, the socials, tokenomics, like market metrics, liquidity. It's just kind of one of these awesome hidden gems in the ICP ecosystem. This is really a cool project that does all the work for you. You know how long it would take to go and try to find all this information out? My goodness, that would take forever. So they are doing an insanely good job at bringing this information to light so that the community can view this stuff for free. So check out Taco DAO. They got a crazy token, Taco, and get it on Kong Swap. Crypto bubbles, guys. Oh my goodness. ICP's down 3.5% on the day, up 1.4% on the week, trading at $4.86. Now, I mentioned that we are trying to figure out, what internet computer could possibly run to in the bull market. And I'm hoping, like I said earlier on, that the Fed rate cut will spark the beginning of a melt up, right? I've talked about this in the other videos where if you're not like really savvy on interest rate cuts and things like that, you have to envision that most of the world is on a fixed income for the most part, right? We live within this certain price range or this certain criteria that we make ends meet at. And when you can start borrowing money for less, you can then get more spending power. A lot of times the spending power ends up into the markets. And so with that said, I'm looking at the 3-day chart, and somebody the other day was like, "Oh my goodness, none of your price predictions have come out, blah, 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 blah." And I was like, dude, I was, talking about a daily chart or a 3-day chart or a weekly chart, and making these predictions 6 months out, well into the early 2026 time frames. But this is a different story here. We've got ICP in this absolutely banger of a falling wedge. Several confirmations on the downside, several confirmations of resistance on the upside. Now, if we throw up some Fibonacci extensions here, you can see that price, in my opinion, there is this stronghold right around this $14 to $17 ish range, which aligns with the 61.8 and the 786. 61.8 being a golden ratio, and the 786 is a very common point for traders to reverse their positions. Now, the 127 and the 161.8 are kind of like the sweeter spots. A lot of traders will reverse positions trading options and things at the 127. The more riskier traders will reverse positions at the 161.8. Ones with balls will keep going even higher. So when we look at this and we look at some of these price tags, I'm seeing a lot of people say, oh yeah, ICP is going to hit like $200, $300, $400, $500, blah, blah, blah. And you guys have to understand that it obtained some of those higher prices early on because of the amount of tokens that were in circulation. When I got into the Internet Computer, there was like 120 million tokens in circulation. I just pulled up this API here, and it looks like there's about 538 million tokens in circulation right now. And looks like CoinGecko is verifying that as well. So with that said, we have to take things into consideration here. And when you look at some of these price points, I personally think that we'll see ICP run up to about the $26 to $32-ish range, and I hope it goes even higher. I really do. My bags are packed on ICP, and they've been packed for a long time. In fact, I started buying ICP on the way down at 28. So with that said, let's look at what a $26. Let's just start off with a $17 price range. So right now, price of ICP is trading at $4.86. So we'll go 4.86. Now we've got about 538 million tokens in circulation. And so this will give us our market cap. And it should be right about $2.5 billion, which it is. Okay. So now we have to understand that, okay, if we're at, $4.86 and we got about a $2.6 billion market cap, roughly we'll need a 3x from here, maybe 3.5x from here to get to about that $17 mark. And so that would bring the price up to about $8 billion, right? So this is very attainable. In fact, I think that ICP could reach even higher levels. When we look at some of these Fibonacci extensions like the 161.8 at $32, I think that $32, let's just go 32 times 538 million. That's a $17 billion market cap, which is absolutely nothing in today's age. We saw projects like Cardano and others reach near and over $100 billion the last cycle. And of course, the market is a lot more diluted now, especially than it was back in 2021. So, we have to think kind of more conservatively with our numbers, in my opinion. I would say that ICP, respectively, this bull market could potentially get into maybe like the $75 to $100 range. Before, my price targets were 100 to 135-ish, but tokens are being minted and things like that. And so, the price target goes down as that happens. And so let's just say at $100 times 538 million, we should get $53.8 billion dollar market cap, which is absolutely great. This is tremendous, and so that's at $100 right now. You know, $50 price tag. We're looking at $26. So it wouldn't surprise me really to see ICP run this chart all the way up possibly to $100 plus. But you know, we need it to hit 17. We need it to hit $26. We need to hit it to hit $32 first. And realistically, when we start looking back at some of these first points of resistance here, you know, right around that 77 to 89, $90 range, you can see this is where the Fibonacci extensions max out. So with that said, I do think that there could be some legitimacy to this. And I think that this is a 3-day chart, guys. You're not going to see price move all the way up here. It's going to take months and months and months, unless we get some crazy melt up God candle. But I do think that right now, price action is going to have a great shot at moving through this Ichimoku cloud because it's very thin. And traditionally, you see when the Ichimoku cloud thickens, price action has a harder time to kind of break through it. This is just something that's noted within, you know, the Ichimoku cloud trading. It's just the way it is. So with that said, I do think that right now ICP is still setting up very nicely on this 3-day chart. I mean, we're really looking at a very nice potential gains, in my opinion, just based off this humongous pattern that you could argue is, you know, well over a few years old at this point, 1.5 years old. So that is great to see. These bigger patterns produce bigger results traditionally. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Check out all the great sponsors, and we'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.